On September 8, 2025, workers at a tow yard in Hollywood, Los Angeles, noticed a very strong, bad smell coming from a black Tesla that had been sitting there for several days. They called the police because the odor was unbearable. When LAPD officers opened the front trunk of that Tesla, they found a black cadaver bag covered with insects. Inside the bag was the head and torso of a young girl. Her body was severely decomposed. The smell of decay was overwhelming. Below that bag, they found a second black bag. It contained her arms and legs. The body had been dismembered and wrapped in plastic trash bags. The girl was 14 years old. Her name was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She was from Lake Elsinore, California. She had been missing since April or May 2024. Her family had been searching for her for more than a year. This was not just any car. The Tesla was registered to David Anthony Burke, the 21-year-old singer known as D4vd, the same artist whose songs Romantic-Homicide and Here With Me had millions of streams on TikTok and Spotify. The same young man who was on his Withered tour at that time, performing for fans. Celeste's remains were discovered just one day after what would have been her 15th birthday. The medical examiner later ruled her death a homicide, even though the body was in such bad condition that determining the exact cause was very difficult. For 7 months, LAPD investigated quietly. Then, on April 16, 2026, police arrested David Burke, D4vd, at a house in the Hollywood Hills. He was taken into custody on suspicion of murder. He is now in jail without bail. His case will be presented to the district attorney on April 20, 2026, to decide if formal charges will be filed. His lawyers say he is innocent. They say the evidence will show that he did not murder Celeste, and he was not the cause of her death. This case has left many people with heavy questions. A 14-year-old girl's life ended, and her body was found hidden in the car of a rising music star. Her family has been waiting for answers and justice. A young artist's career is now on hold while he sits in jail facing serious allegations. In this video, we are going to go through the full story step by step: who Celeste was, how she was connected to D4vd, the complete timeline, the challenges in the investigation, the arrest, and what both sides are saying right now. We will stick to the known facts, no rumors. Because this is a real case that involves the death of a young girl and the future of a 21-year-old artist. The biggest problem in this entire case started the moment police found Celeste's body. It was so badly decomposed that even experienced investigators and the medical examiner faced serious difficulties. The body had been sitting for a long time. Advanced decay had set in, and insects had already started their work. Because of this severe decomposition, it became very hard to find clear physical evidence on exactly how she died. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner eventually ruled her death a homicide, but they could not immediately determine the precise cause. Things like strangulation, stabbing, or any other specific injury were difficult to confirm due to how much the body had broken down. They had to rely on other types of evidence instead. Her remains were found in 2 separate black cadaver bags inside the front trunk. One bag held her head and torso. The second bag, placed underneath, contained her arms and legs. She had been partially dismembered. This made the investigation even more complicated because the way the body was cut and separated raised many questions about what happened in the final moments. Identification itself took time. Even though the Tesla was registered to D4vd, police needed forensic work, including tattoos, clothing, jewelry like a yellow metal stud earring and chain bracelet, and DNA to officially confirm it was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. One detail that stood out was a tattoo on her index finger that said SHHH, which was very similar to one D4vd himself has on his finger. Because the body was in such poor condition, determining the exact time of death also became a challenge. Investigators could only estimate that she had been deceased for several weeks by the time the car reached the tow yard. This gap created problems in building a clear timeline and connecting every piece of evidence. The car itself added another layer of difficulty. It was a Tesla with Texas plates, found abandoned in the Hollywood Hills area before being towed. It had been sitting in the impound lot for a couple of days when the strong smell of decay and flies finally forced workers to call the police. By then, any potential fingerprints, DNA, or other trace evidence on the outside or inside the vehicle may have been affected by weather, time, or handling. For 7 long months, the LAPD Robbery-Homicide Division worked on this case. They used help from other units and presented evidence to a grand jury starting as early as November 2025. Collecting digital records, surveillance footage, witness statements, and phone data took a lot of time because many pieces were not straightforward. This long delay also added emotional pain for Celeste's family. They had already been searching for their daughter since she went missing in 2024. They had reported her missing multiple times before. Waiting more than a year and then learning her body was found in this state must have been devastating. They still do not have full answers about what exactly happened to her or why her remains ended up where they did. Even now, after D4vd's arrest on April 16, 2026, the case remains complex. He is being held without bail, but no formal charges have been filed yet. The district attorney's office will review everything on April 20 to decide the next step. His lawyers argue that the poor condition of the body and the lack of certain physical evidence will work in his favor, while prosecutors say they have enough other evidence to move forward. This is why the case is moving slowly and carefully. Severe decomposition turned what could have been a straightforward investigation into one of the most challenging ones for LAPD. Every small detail now carries extra weight because the body itself could not tell the full story. In the next part, we will talk about who Celeste actually was and how her life connected to D4vd. Version: Celeste Rivas Hernandez was only 14 years old when she went missing. She lived with her family in Lake Elsinore, a small and quiet town in Riverside County, California, about 80 miles away from Los Angeles. It is the kind of place where families know each other, and kids usually stay close to home. But Celeste's life was not simple. From a young age, Celeste had a habit of running away from home. Her family said she had left the house several times before. Each time she would come back after a few days or weeks. Her mother was always worried and had reported her missing multiple times in the past. In April 2024, Celeste left home again. This time she did not return. Her family waited for days, then weeks, then months. By May 2024, they had lost all contact with her. Her mother later told police that Celeste had been talking to and meeting someone named David. She believed this person was older and that her daughter was spending time with him. Celeste was a normal teenage girl in many ways. She had dreams like any other 14-year-old. She liked taking photos, talking to friends online, and had a social media presence. She was described by people who knew her as someone who was searching for attention and care that she perhaps felt was missing at home. She had a bright smile in her old pictures, and her family remembers her as a girl full of energy who could be stubborn but also loving. Her mother has spoken publicly about the pain of not knowing where her daughter was for such a long time. She said the waiting was the hardest part, every day hoping for a call or a message, but nothing came. When the news finally broke that remains had been found, the family had to go through the terrible process of identification. It must have been heartbreaking for them to realize that the girl they had been searching for had been gone for so long, and in such a tragic way. Celeste had some small tattoos, including one on her index finger that said SHHH. She also wore a yellow metal stud earring and a chain bracelet. These personal items later helped confirm her identity when her remains were discovered. She should have celebrated her 15th birthday on September 7, 2025. Instead, her body was found the very next day. That single-day difference made the loss feel even more cruel for her family. They had missed her birthday without knowing she was already gone. Her family has said they want justice. They want to know exactly what happened to their daughter in her final days and why she never came home. They have been patient through the long investigation, but the emotional weight on them has been heavy. A mother losing her young daughter in this manner leaves a pain that words cannot fully describe. Celeste's story is not just about her death. It is about a 14-year-old girl who is still figuring out life, who made some choices that led her away from home, and who ended up caught in a situation much bigger and more dangerous than she could have understood at her age. In the next part, we will talk about how Celeste's life became connected to D4vd and what evidence shows about their relationship. Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David Anthony Burke, known as D4vd, were connected in several ways that went beyond just knowing each other. Celeste had been active in D4vd's Discord server since 2022. At that time, she was around 12 or 13 years old, and D4vd was 17. The server was a place where fans talked about his music, shared edits, and sometimes interacted directly with him. Celeste used the username Celeste and was noticed by other members because she was very active and often talked about personal things. Over time, their contact moved from the public server to private messages. Reports say they started talking regularly. Celeste began telling friends that she had a close relationship with someone older who made music. Her mother later told police that her daughter was meeting a person named David, and that she believed he was the same David from the music world. There is evidence that Celeste spent time with D4vd in person. She stayed at a rental property linked to him in the Los Angeles area. Some people close to the case said she was living with him or staying with him for periods of time. Photos and messages shared among friends showed Celeste in places connected to D4vd's life. One strong piece of physical evidence was the matching tattoos. Celeste had a tattoo on her index finger that read SHHH. D4vd has a very similar tattoo in the same place on his finger. This detail became important when police were trying to link the two together. The Tesla car played a central role. The black Tesla with Texas license plates was registered under David Anthony Burke's name. Celeste's remains were found inside its front trunk. This car was seen in the Hollywood Hills area before it was abandoned and towed. Police believe the car was used or parked in locations where Celeste had been present. Digital evidence also connected them. Police looked at phone records, messages, location data, and surveillance footage from different places. Multiple sources say Celeste was seen with D4vd or in his circle on several occasions between 2023 and 2025. Her friends told investigators that she often talked about David and seemed excited about the relationship even though she was very young. For Celeste's family, this connection brought a lot of pain and confusion. Her mother has said she felt something was wrong, but could not stop her daughter from leaving home again and again. She worried that Celeste was getting involved with someone much older who had a different lifestyle. The fact that her 14-year-old daughter was spending time with a 21-year-old artist who already had fame made the situation even more worrying for the family. On D4vd's side, he has not publicly spoken about Celeste. His lawyers say the evidence will prove he did not cause her death. But the discovery of her body in his registered car, combined with the history of contact and the matching tattoos, created a strong link that police could not ignore. This relationship raises difficult questions. A 14-year-old girl and a 21-year-old rising musician, the age gap, the online start, the in-person meetings, and the final tragic outcome have left many people uncomfortable and searching for answers. How did their connection begin? How serious was it? And what went wrong in the end? Police spent months building this picture through witness statements, digital footprints, and physical evidence. The connection between Celeste and D4vd is now at the center of the entire case. In the next part, we will go through the complete timeline of events from when Celeste went missing until D4vd's arrest. Here is the complete timeline of what happened in this case, based on known facts. April 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez left her family home in Lake Elsinore for the last time. She was 14 years old. Her family reported her missing after a few days when she did not return. This was not her first time running away, but this time the silence lasted much longer. May 2024, contact between Celeste and her family completely stopped. Her mother tried calling and messaging, but received no reply. At this point, the family grew deeply worried and kept pushing the police for updates. January 2025. This is the last known period when there is any evidence that Celeste was still alive. After this month, no clear proof of her being alive has been found so far. July to August 2025. The black Tesla registered to David Burke, D4vd, was seen and then abandoned in the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles. It stayed parked for some time before it was towed to the impound lot. No one claimed the car during this period. September 8, 2025. Workers at the Hollywood tow yard noticed a strong foul smell coming from the Tesla. When police opened the front trunk, they discovered Celeste's remains. This date was especially painful because it was only one day after what would have been Celeste's 15th birthday. Her family had been waiting more than 16 months for any news about her. September to October 2025, the LAPD Robbery-Homicide Division began a quiet but serious investigation. Because the body was in very poor condition, they had to work slowly and carefully. They started collecting digital records, surveillance videos, and witness statements. November 2025, the case was presented to a grand jury for the first time. Investigators continued building evidence over the following months. During this time, D4vd was still performing on his Withered tour. He played shows in different cities while the investigation moved forward in Los Angeles. February 2026, David Burke was officially named a suspect by the police. More details about the connection between him and Celeste started coming out through leaks and official updates. April 16, 2026, Thursday, LAPD officers went to a house on Marmont Avenue in the Hollywood Hills and arrested David Anthony Burke. The arrest was peaceful, and he cooperated with the officers. He was booked at the 77th Street Station and has been held in jail without bail since that day. April 20, 2026, Monday. This is the important upcoming date. The case will be formally presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. They will decide whether to file official murder charges against D4vd or not. Throughout this timeline, there is a painful contrast. While Celeste's family spent months and then years in worry and silence, D4vd continued his music career, releasing his debut album, Withered, and performing live for fans. The gap between her disappearance in 2024 and the discovery of her body in September 2025 left a long period where no one knew what had happened to the 14-year-old girl. Her family has said the long wait made the final news even more devastating. They had hoped she would come home one day, but instead they received the worst possible update more than a year later. This timeline shows how slowly the case moved, and how much time passed between Celeste going missing and D4vd's arrest, almost 2 full years. In the next part, we will talk about D4vd's arrest and what his current situation is right now. By Ye.6 Ka Ultra Long Expanded Keynote High. No repeat from previous points. 1C5. Surf fresh facts about arrest and current situation. Simple English main. Real emotions key soth. Shock of arrest. Jail life. Upcoming decision. Voiceover key li. I serious or heavy tone best rahega. Point 6. Arrest or current status. Ultra long version on April 16, 2026, which was a Thursday. Everything changed for David Anthony Burke. LAPD officers from the Robbery-Homicide Division went to a house located on Marmont Avenue in the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles. They had a probable cause warrant. Around that time, they arrested 21-year-old old David Burke, known to the world as the singer D4vd. The arrest happened peacefully. According to reports, Burke cooperated with the officers and did not resist. He was taken into custody without any struggle. After the arrest, he was booked at the 77th Street Station in Los Angeles. Since that day, David Burke has been held in jail without bail. This means he cannot pay money to get out while the case continues. He remains behind bars as the legal process moves forward. Right now, he is facing suspicion of murder. This is not a final conviction. It is the initial charge under which he was arrested. No formal murder charges have been filed against him yet in court. The very next important step is scheduled for April 20, 2026, this coming Monday. On that day, the entire case file will be presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. The prosecutors will review all the evidence collected by LAPD. After this review, they will decide whether to officially file murder charges or not. This decision will be a major turning point in the case. While he waits in jail, David Burke's music career has been put on hold. His withered tour dates were affected earlier, and now all promotion and new releases are paused. For a young artist who had just released his debut studio album and was gaining more fans, this sudden stop has been difficult. His family is also going through a hard time. His parents have stayed mostly silent in public, but they are supporting him through this period. Being 21 years old and suddenly sitting in jail facing such a serious allegation is a huge shock for anyone, especially someone who was living the life of a rising musician just weeks earlier. On the other side, Celeste's family continues to wait for real answers and justice. They have already suffered through more than 2 years of not knowing what happened to their daughter. Now they must sit through the slow court process, hoping the system gives them the truth they deserve. The case is still in its early legal stage. Because Burke is being held without bail, he will stay in custody until the district attorney makes a decision and any further court hearings take place. Everything depends on what the prosecutors find strong enough to charge him with murder. This arrest has brought the long investigation into the public eye after months of quiet work by the police. Many people are watching closely to see what happens on April 20 and in the weeks after. In the next and final part, we will talk about what D4vd's lawyers are saying in his defense and how this case might end. By Ye.7 Ka Ultra Long Expanded Keynote High. No repeat from previous points 1C6. Serve fresh facts about defense. Simple English main. Real emotions Key Soth. Lawyers Ka Confidence. Parents Ka Support. Innocent claim. Voiceover Key Li. I calm or firm tone best Rahega. Point 7 D4vd Key Taraf C Defense. Ultra long version. David Burke's legal team has come out strongly in his support since the arrest. His main lawyers are Blair Burke, Marilyn Bednarski, and Regina Peter. These are experienced attorneys who have handled high-profile cases before. Right after the arrest on April 16, 2026, they released a clear and direct statement to the media. In their statement, the lawyers said, "The actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death." They emphasized that David is innocent. They believe that when all the facts are properly examined in court, it will prove he had no role in causing Celeste's death. The lawyers have also pointed out that, so far, no grand jury has issued a formal indictment against him. They say there is still no official criminal complaint filed in court that charges him with murder. The defense team has made it clear that they will fight the case vigorously. They plan to challenge the evidence presented by the police and show that the link between David and Celeste's death is not as strong as it may appear right now. They argue that the long time gap and the poor condition of the body make it difficult to blame one person without clear proof. David's parents are standing firmly by their son. They have expressed that they are deeply sad and disappointed by the situation. They believe their son is innocent and are supporting him emotionally and legally during this difficult time. For a young man of 21 years who was focused on his music career, having his family's backing means a lot while he sits in jail. The lawyers have also reminded everyone that David cooperated with the police during the arrest. He did not try to run or resist. They see this as a sign that he has nothing to hide and is confident in his innocence. At this stage, the defense is waiting for the district attorney's decision on April 20. If formal charges are filed, they will prepare to fight every step in court. They want the case to be decided based on real evidence, not on public rumors or the shocking way the body was found. This strong defense has given some hope to David's fans and supporters. Many people who have followed his music for years are shocked by the allegations and are waiting to hear his side fully when the case goes to trial. However, the lawyers have also asked for patience. They say the full truth will only come out after a proper legal process, and jumping to conclusions right now would be unfair. David Burke's team is focused on one main message. He did not kill Celeste, and the evidence will eventually prove it. In the final part of this video, we will bring everything together and talk about the bigger picture of this tragic case. By Ye.8 Ka Ultra Long Expanded Keynote High. No repeat from any previous points. 1C7, Surf Fresh Closing Thoughts, Simple English Main, Real Emotions Key Soth, Justice Ka Intizar, Du Taraf Ka Dard, Audience C Sowell. Voiceover Key Lee, I slow, thoughtful or emotional tone best Rahega. Point 8 Video Ka Ending / Thought, Provoking Close Ultra Long Version. This case leaves behind a very heavy and painful picture. On one side is the short life of a 14-year-old girl who never got the chance to grow up, finish school, or see what her future could have been. Her family has carried the weight of not knowing for more than 2 years, and now they must face the reality of her death while waiting for the court system to give them clear answers. On the other side is a 21-year-old artist who went from making music in his sister's closet to performing on big stages and releasing an album that reached the Billboard charts. His entire career has now been stopped suddenly, and he sits in jail facing one of the most serious allegations possible at such a young age. 2 young lives have been deeply affected. One has ended too soon, and the other is now trapped in a long legal battle that could change everything. The truth in this case is still not final. The district attorney has not yet decided on formal charges. No trial has started. No judge or jury has given a verdict. Everything we know today is based on police investigation and early evidence. The full story will only become clear when the legal process is completed in court. Celeste's family wants justice for their daughter. They want to understand why she never came home and who was responsible for what happened to her. They have already suffered enough pain, and they hope the system will treat their loss with seriousness and care. David Burke and his family want a fair chance to prove his innocence. They believe the evidence will show he did not cause Celeste's death, and they are ready to fight through every step of the court process. This situation reminds us how complicated real-life cases can be. Sometimes the truth is not simple or quick. It takes time, patience, and careful examination of every detail before anyone can say with certainty what really happened. Right now, both families are hurting in different ways. One family is grieving the loss of a child. The other family is watching their son's life and dreams being put on hold while he sits behind bars. As this case moves forward, the most important thing is that the justice system works properly without pressure from media, social media opinions, or public anger. Celeste deserves the truth about her death. David deserves a fair opportunity to defend himself. We may never fully understand everything that happened between these 2 young people, but we can hope that the court will reach a decision based on facts and evidence. What do you think about this case? Do you believe the evidence will prove one side or the other? How do you feel about a 14-year-old girl's life ending this way while a young artist's career hangs in the balance? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Share this video with others who want to understand the facts clearly. If you want more updates on this case as new information comes out, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for watching till the end. This was a difficult and emotional story, but it is important that we keep following it with patience and respect for both families involved.